Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And just sitting here drinking my bison coffee today and watching a groundhog elude me. uh, I start seeing groundhogs, I start worrying. Because they are hell on foundations. Uh, every groundhog I've ever had in my yard destroyed foundations and buildings fell. So we don't put up with groundhogs in my yard. So he's done eluded me twice. It's because of where he's going. When you go out in my yard, it's got a cut down and a little valley that runs all the way down to the creek. And he keeps getting in behind that where I can't get to him to get him. But where I can shoot him, he doesn't stay long. He's on the move. So I'm he's done eluded me twice. So, but anyway, this video is about two new products that I'm putting out. I think I'm gonna start putting these up on my site for sale. And to kind of update you guys on Bison Workshop. I have started a new barrel band for the Challenger 357 and 30 long stock. I have a barrel band like this for the one without the shroud. So I wasn't real sure about putting Picatinny rails on the side of the thin ones, so I redesigned it and made it thick around the outside edges. And these are printed in PET G, which is I think is a combination of PLA and ABS. So they're pretty strong. I still would not recommend a bipod on them, but this one you could probably get away with it, depending on how hard you twist on your bipod. But I still wouldn't recommend it. That's purely up to you. If you feel that you're going to be good to it and not be roughhousing with it, this would probably last you forever. But you can't do a whole lot of twisting on these. But these are a little wider and a little thicker, and it's got 3 Picatinny rails on it. Then I went and made up a set of scope cap covers or plates. You got one for the front one, and you got one for the rear one, smaller one. And they just glue in the center, because when you first get your caps, they look like this, minus the camouflage duct tape. But I like to decorate mine, and this here goes to my sea life, I think. They don't fit for some reason. You know, all these caps are not the same size. This is a 50 millimeter and this one's a 50 millimeter. So this one is for the O hunt. And don't that look cool? So it's just a plate. You glue them on, or two-sided tape them on, whichever one you decide. No, I don't supply that. If I did, I'd have to keep inventory for that too, and I'm not really set up for all that. So there you got the scope caps with the bison logo on the front of it. So if you like bison, or if you just like buffaloes, I might try to see if I can do one with a deer, maybe. Uh, I'll look around, see if I can find a 3D printed deer head or horns even. That I might be able to make. But that would be cool to have some with deer horns and have different ones offered for it. And they just fit in all your 50mm lens caps that are sunk in like that. So I could take that one and stick it on this one, which I did to test it out to see if it was going to look good. And it did. So those are the two items. This is for the shrouded Challenger 357 and 30 cal long stock and bullpups. So the bullpups and the Challenger long stocks were the same. They just had a different stock and a different trigger mechanism. That was it. The breech, the barrel, the tank, all the same. So this will fit the bullpups also. Now you do have to do some filing. Now don't get tired if it don't fit. If they do not slide on freely with your fingers back and forth, you're not there yet. So it don't take me long to get one to fit. Of course, I do it a lot. But I usually just go through and just rough it with a file. In fact, I'll do that right now and show you what I do with them. I take this big old half round rasp. I think it's a 3/4. I don't have my eyes here. And I'll just go in there before I ship it to you guys. And I just file off all the little tips and stuff like that, and that's it. So then this file won't fit this one, so I have to go with the smaller file. So I just go in there and same thing. And file all the tits off of it. Now when you file it, it should be real smooth. But when you do it, you got to take the same amount all the way around it. Because if you don't, you're going to end up changing the barrel where they set. So if you're filing only on one side, it's still never going to fit because you still have these two sides that are still too small for this. So you gotta make sure you file the same all the way around. If you don't, you're ruining your barrel band. So it just takes common sense. Now this one here, it's so thin in there that this one here I usually concentrate all around the side here, all around this side and the top, and do the same thing down here but do the bottom. So I kind of stay away from this as much as I can. So I'll wait for my groundhog to come out. If I see him, you guys are going to see me disappear. But those are the two products that I have put up. Now I've made other products for people that I'm not real sure that I'm going to carry because I sell them so few and far between. It's like this FX barrel band for the FX. It's a specialty when it goes for the bottle, I believe. So if you do need a barrel band made, I would need these measurements. So you get that picture or screenshot it, whatever, and you write down everything, all your measurements. what I would need would be the barrel, and you need to use a set of calipers, and you need to use them correctly. Make sure they're flat against the band or the barrel and the tank when you measure them to get the exact amount. I'll do the adjustments. Because if you give me a true measurement, clear down to the .01, get me that measurement for the barrel, get me that measurement for the tank, and then you need to use a set of feeler gauges, or I've seen people use stacks of paper, like printer paper, just stack them in there until, big old, however thick your barrel is, the gap between the barrel and the tank. So in between here, just use a set of feeler gauges and stack them accordingly, and readjust them by taking a thick one out and a thin one in. Just keep adjusting it until they slide in there with just barely touching. So that's how you measure for your tanks and for your barrel band. But anyway, I just wanted to show that, and I got 3 of those. So I got them in stock. I also did a barrel band, which I don't have sitting here right this minute. Yeah, I don't have one here. But I also made a barrel band. Let me just go get it, because you guys are going to want to see it. So this is what the Pro barrel band started out as. And this one is more for a flashlight and to keep your barrel straight. This one, I just added Picatinny rails right here on the side. Now, eventually, I'd like to make this a little thicker, but I'm trying to keep these thin enough that they just don't look so bulky. So those are the 2 different ones that I have for the Pro. This one I've had for a while. This one's a new one. I've sold a few of them, but and I haven't heard anything bad out of them yet, so I must be doing a pretty good job, or somebody's respecting the part. This will last me forever because I know how to respect it. So this got into a everything video, didn't it? Well, I'd like to see him come in here, man. It bothers me that he's running around out there. What the hell's he digging a hole under? There's a great old big rock out there. In fact, I'll just show you guys. Let's just take a tour of the backyard. We'll just make this a hangout video. Gotta have my coffee. But we got that big rock right out there. And as you notice, I got my overhang done. I ended up having to buy another one of these buildings or carports. And I thought I was getting a 10 by 10, but I ended up, they sent me a 10 by 20. So I have a whole building I can make a 10 by 10 out of. But I had to rob this, and I was going to make these. These would have been really hard to make because I had to make one, 2, 3, and I just extended it out by putting about a 16-inch piece in here to where I could roll that over. And it's not the best looking in the world, but it keeps the rain from falling straight down on the steps. Now, sideways rain, there ain't a whole lot you can do about it. But the hardest part is trying to get it to work with that gutter because of it being taller than the the roof. So because it's taller than the roof, no, it don't leak where I have that on there. It leaks underneath here because for some reason the water's going on this side of this panel. So I need to figure out what's going on with that. It's not real bad. It's just a bunch of drops right here that drops down right there. So this part here is underneath the overhang on the other side. So no water, well, maybe little, very little, comes through here, depending on how the rain's running. If it's running sideways, ain't a hell of a lot you do about that for anything. And this is the only place that I've been trying to work on. So, but anyway, we got off topic, didn't we? That big old rock out there, it probably goes, it's about 3 foot tall from the ground to the front of the top or the bottom of the rock. And it goes back in there probably 20 feet. And that's an overhanging rock in that little gully there. So it's a perfect place for a groundhog to think he needs to set up a home. So we have to remind him that it is not. So anyway, I just wanted to show the product and ended up showing you a little bit more. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.